crucial part, that is our brain. And the Alzheimer's that actually strikes at 70 can now be picked up about a couple of decades earlier. So, I mean, for people to actually see their doctor, see their advice when they have these symptoms, and then start testing at around 50, I mean, that is going to be phenomenal from a perspective.
Every 3 seconds, someone in the world develops dementia, and the most common form of it is Alzheimer's, a progressive brain disease that slowly erodes memory, thinking, and independence. On World Alzheimer's Day, there was some big news from India. Dendrite Dx, the country's first all in one non invasive pathway to diagnose Alzheimer's early has been launched. So, why does this matter? Because in India, nearly 9 million people are already living with dementia, and most are diagnosed too late when the damage to the brain is permanent. Traditional options like PET scans or spinal taps are either painful, too expensive, or simply not available for everyone.
What is actually seen today is that just about 1 out of 10 persons having Alzheimer's is actually detected. And of course, like you understand, unless the diagnosis of a disease is made timely, the management again becomes very, very difficult at an advanced stage. Now, of course, Alzheimer's is something that affects mostly elderly individuals, that is, individuals that are more than 60 years of age. And for you to also understand small things like loss of memory, like frequent loss of things like where did I keep my car keys, or what did I eat for dinner last night, what was that person's name. I mean, there are gaps in memory that people actually brush away, thinking that it might just be stress, or it might be lack of sleep, or it might be just a bunch of other things. And of course, in our lives, that is full of so much screen time and stress. We are also seeing that the prevalence of Alzheimer's, not only in the elderly, but also in the comparatively younger generation, is also increasing. And of course, that is why currently the modalities that exist to diagnose Alzheimer's were either a spinal tap. Now, for you to understand, a spinal tap is not an easy procedure. It's basically when you insert a long needle inside your backbone and then take out that spinal fluid, and then that is tested. Or otherwise, these are very, very robust and difficult to access PET scans of a particular type. And of course, these are not available widely. And in a country like ours, of course, where scalability and accessibility is crucial, we started actually planning this more than a year back when we set out on the path to actually find these tests.
So here is how Dendrite DX changed the game. It starts with a quick 15-minute digital memory test, easy to take and surprisingly accurate, matching global gold standards. If it flags concerns, the next step is a set of FDA-approved blood tests that look for proteins strongly linked to Alzheimer's. And finally, for confirmation, there's blood tests developed in the US. This test gives a simple score that tells you the likelihood of Alzheimer's related brain changes with accuracy rates above 90%. And the best part, no painful procedures, no massive hospital bills.
And what is important to understand is that this is not a single test, but it is a reflex testing pathway. What I mean by that is that these are a series of sequential tests, starting with a very easy quiz that you can take on your phone, your tablet, your PC, your laptop. And essentially, it's just like a 15-20 minute assessment in which, for you to understand, these are a bunch of games like puzzles and games that you play on your phone, and in 15 or 20 minutes you get a brain aid score. And of course, also any kind of indication of MCI basically refers to mild cognitive impairment. And based on these two, we can of course then guide you, or more importantly, a physician can correlate these quiz scores with your clinical symptoms, and then of course guide us if we need to move on to the next step of Dendrite DX. Now, the way that we've positioned this quiz is that firstly, it gives people that access even to take it from their home or wherever they are. Secondly, also we made it very user friendly and fun, so anyone can take these very simple quizzes without actually getting worried about the complexity of these. And thirdly, also we are empowering the patient or the person who's taking the quiz and the doctor to, of course, have access to a detailed report.
What's also smart about this pathway is that it doesn't just look for Alzheimer's, it checks for things like vitamin deficiencies, thyroid issues, and metabolic problems, all of which can cause memory lapses but are completely treatable if caught early. Experts say this could be a breakthrough for families in India, giving them the gift of time, time to plan care, time to try new treatments, and time to act before it's too late.
Like you understand, any kind of test in a country like ours, unless it has that last mile delivery, I mean, can't really serve the entire population. Now, again, that comes with a critical part of costing as well. And of
Yeah.
course, our aim as an institution, and of course, also pioneering this for the entire industry, is to, of course, get the cost down at a much more affordable level. Like, for example, the quiz that I'm talking about, just the quiz, is going to be somewhere around 1,000 to 1,500 rupees. And of course, as the testing advances, the cost will go up. But what we are hopeful is to actually raise awareness among all the physicians that as the volumes rise, we can also further get the costing down so that we have more leverage with our vendors as well. The volumes go up. So, I mean, this is a journey and not a destination. And we are glad we started it. But of course, ultimately, to get the costing down is something that our management feels is critical. Also, secondly, the part of last mile delivery, yes. Since this is a simple quiz that you take on your phone and it's a simple blood test, we do have this available in almost any motorable pin code in India. Again, the time of the sample to reach the lab is something that we are we keep a lot of attention on, and that is something that we worked out. So, of course, from any of the major cities like your metropolitans and the other larger cities in India is something that we are launching this. And of course, moving forward, we will, of course, launch it even to a wider population.
With Dendrite Dx, India now has a patient friendly world class option to take charge of brain health and perhaps change the story of Alzheimer's for millions. Zafar Iqbal for Mojo Story.